morning. I welcome you all to today's event at the occasion of World Environment Day. World Environment Day is observed to raise awareness on the protection and preservation of the environment. This World Environment Day 2023 marks the completion of 50 years of establishment. This year, the theme of World Environment Day is Beat Plastic Pollution. The world is being inundated by plastic, and I would like to share some statistics with you all. More than 400 million tons of plastic is produced every year, half of which is designed to be used only once. Of that, less than 10% is recycled. An estimated 19 to 23 million tons end up in lakes, rivers, and seas. Today, plastic clogs our landfills, leaches into the ocean, and is combusted into toxic smoke, making it one of the gravest threats to the planet. So, at this occasion, today we are organizing this film show in collaboration with Center for Environment Communication, and we have with us Ms. Alka Tomar, Director, Center for Environment Communication, and Mr. Badal Chaudhary, who would be moderating the show. So, on behalf of Science City, I welcome you both. So without much delay, I would like to hand over the platform to Ms. Alka Tomar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Loveleen, and very good morning, good afternoon to everybody. And we are, yes, lot of you are joining. And it's good to be back. And last time I remember in December, with some of you, we had a conversation on similar platform with similar medium on plastic, but that plastic was more how it's landing in sea and what is happening to our ocean and the marine fauna and flora altogether. So from there, now in June, we are again talking about plastic, but at a larger level. We're talking about a level where it's a situation where we need to decide our way forward. And so here, apart from the issue that we're going to discuss through series of films in 1 hour, is also some solutions. And nevertheless, the situation is though very grim. Then we are talking about that more than 45 million of the kg of plastic is entering into the ocean, or we are talking about that 36% of the plastic is used for packaging, or we are talking about our cars that are running then in and out on our roads, as 30% of them has plastic component. So similarly, it's lot more issues are there concerning plastic. But having said that, now apart from banning the single-use plastic, and also there are a lot of terminologies and initiatives are being used, and we are talking about uh, circular economy. Now circular economy is something is becoming buzzword, and people are trying to talk about that how we reuse the existing plastic waste, because otherwise there is no way out of this situation. So there's a new plastic economy is a commitment that we have, and UNEP and all other organizations in the world are talking about it. And there are green entrepreneurs, the startups are there, the green solutions people are talking about. So yes, there are issues, but slowly we're also talking about these solutions. So this is one, I think, very important message for all of us on this World Environment Day. Apart from that, in fact, before I hand over the forum and to Badal, my colleague, let me also take this moment and pause for a second, because Lavleen, if you can post that, screen that picture. Yeah. So I'm talking about environmentalist Manoj Mishra. Yeah, and Manoj Mishra, who passed away yesterday, and he is known for clean Yamuna. And after a long COVID battle, finally he yesterday died, and this World Environment Day, he was my mentor also, and plus I think beyond a mentor, being a very very good mentor, he was also, I think, known for what he has done for us as environmentalists. He was Indian Forest Service officer and then taken early retirement. He was with WWF on the traffic India Traffic Division, director of that. But most important thing is that he initiated an organization called Peace Institute Charitable Trust and as well as Yamuna GA Abhiyan. I think that is where he had made significant, he had done a lot of significant work. And I think all of you as participants, I think what we can draw from his life is that amount of research, good backed up research that he has done on Yamuna, and how he has taken that crusade for clean Yamuna from one forum to another. And that's why today, I think on this World Environment Day, we really remember you, sir, for what you have done for us, for providing and working towards Yamuna floodplains, on the river front, on the waste front. And this theme and this festival is also dedicated to you. So, yeah, this is very, very important for all of us. For 22 years, he has been, if you Google him, Manoj Mishra, and sir, you will see what all he has done for the country. So, coming back to the theme of the festival. Let me also now introduce my colleague Badal Chaudhary. Badal is also environmental sciences background, as I am from environment science, and we all are talking about science and environmental education, communication. So Badal is a master's in environmental sciences management, and he works on very very specific theme also on ESG, environment, social, and governance of the corporates, sustainability, and he has great passion for pond rejuvenation. And so, Badal, we are looking forward to a very exciting and engaging journey for another hour. And over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. And I welcome all of the participants and the panel members in the session. So today, as you all know, is the World Environment Day, and the theme for this year's World Environment Day is the beat plastic pollution. So plastic pollution is kind of very serious threat nowadays. As you have, I think all of you might have been gone into the places like hills or maybe beaches and somewhere in the plain area or the any kind of tourist destinations, then you will find the heap of plastic waste everywhere. And like it's plastic is everywhere. A few days ago, one of the IAS or I think IFS officers shared a video from the Mount Everest. Uh, at that peak, there are the heaps of plastic. So plastic is like reaching everywhere from its Panama, whether it's Mount Everest, whether it's the Gangetic Plain or the Himalayas, it is each and everywhere. And the problem with the plastic is that like it won't degrade or it won't be into its natural form very soon. So it keeps on being accumulated in the environment and the biomagnification happens. So these things pose a serious threat for the environment and the wildlife because what happens, it gets converted into microplastic. That microplastic enters into the bloodstream and the guts of the animals and as well as the humans. In the several research that are recently done in the US, so few of the microplastic components are also found in the blood line or the blood of the young children and the infants. So this is kind of serious threat for the population. In the theme, so I would like to further say that so it's a reminder of people's actions on the plastic. So we or it's not the work of the it's not the task of our government to stop the pollution itself because it's the us who are using the plastic, who are utilizing the plastic and who are throwing it away. So there is nothing away. Wherever you throw the plastic or everything, so it will go somewhere. It will go away from you, but it will go nearer to someone else or some other community. So there is no place called away in the world. So I think we should reuse the plastic and we should reduce the use of plastic and we should look for the alternative things that can decrease our dependency on the plastic. So moving further, there are some short films that we are going to screen today in the session. So we will initiate with the first film. So the main thematic area or the main theme of that film is that. So plastic, we all know that plastic has provided us convenience. It has provided us affordability. Like as for the button of my shirt to the specs I am wearing or Sam is wearing or any one of you are wearing, then there must be plastic in that, whether it's in the little nose pad or in the frame, but there must be plastic in there. So it has provided convenience and other things, but it has also provided serious threats and problems. And for those things, we have to do some action. So let's begin our first movie. So if you could please play the first movie of today's session.
Vishal, please.
Plastic has been a solution. It has given us convenience, affordability, utility. However, the durability of plastic is both its benefit and its curse. Plastic pollution endures. It's suffocating our planet. We have seen solutions that work, rejecting single-use plastics, creating circular and sustainable alternatives, managing plastic waste more efficiently. Together, let's create systems to better reuse, reduce, and recycle. Let's push for an ambitious global agreement to end plastic pollution. Let's demand governments and businesses act, commit, and set new standards. Use your voice and your choice to beat plastic pollution. Let's do better.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Like as you have seen in the film, like the plastic is providing solution, but it is also causing various problems. So the topic of plastic is not only related to the international forums or the international level. It is also like touching and taking out the brains and the thematic areas of the Indian celebrities as well. So in the next movie, that is Plastic, its name is the Plastic.
Badali got muted. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. So the next film is by the Mesh Minds and the Studio Birchplace. So it's showcasing a child's perspective on the plastic pollution. So like it's kind of show the perspective of a child in the Southeast Asia, because the focus of the world in the today's time is the Asia and specifically the South Asia, because the majority of the world's population lies in the South Asia. India is the country here, China, Bangkok, Thailand, and that Bangladesh and Pakistan. So these are the kind of most populous countries in the world. So focus is in the South Asia because mostly population is there, and if the population is there, then pollution is also there. So it's show the perspective of the child. And in the national term, at the Indian level, there is also another film that will be presented before that film. So it's the Beat Plastic Pollution Anthem that is being sung by the Indian celebrities and the Indian stars. So there are many stars featuring in that film, such as Shan, Ayushmann Khurrana, Sunji Chauhan, Kanika Kapoor, Shankar Mahadevan, Arman Malik, and all. So, like it's showing that plastic is not only concern of the environmentalists and the researchers; it is also the concern of the common man. Sir, if you could proceed with the second and the third film, please.
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे अगर सुन लो जो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी है नदियाँ का ये पानी रुक जाएगा
अगर सुन लो जो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी है नदियाँ का ये
कर दो रहम हाँ धरती का ये दम भी घुट जाएगा कि कुदरत की हाँ नस नस में जहर ये बस जाएगा प्लास्टिक के हम सब मोहताज हैं कैसा ये समाज है
कल ना हो हाथों में आज है
मौका ये अब ना गवाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 टिक
प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो प्लास्टिक है सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो वही
थैली बोतल स्ट्रॉ इत्यादि सर्रे सर्रे में फैला दी ना घट पाए ना मिट पाए रह रह के टॉक्सिक बन जाए इससे छुटकारा तो नहीं पर है एक सरल उपाय रे सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को हम कह दे बाय बाय रे टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे हम जो मिलकर ठान ले अगर वक्त ये बदल जाएगा
कि इस धरती के नामे से ये बोझा हट जाएगा
Refuse to use, reuse, recycle
ये नए रिवाज है प्लास्टिक वाले स्माइल सारे पूछ के आओ खुल के मुस्कुराए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
So this movie depicts the even the awareness level that is there in the stars that are of our country and the awareness that they want to create. So in the next film, we will see the perspective of a South Asian girl in terms of the plastic. So I don't want to disclose more about that film. Let's see it in ourselves. Thank you, sir. So I think all of you have seen this video now. So it's very like touching. It's very deep down because the perspective that the girl is showing is that from that telescope or from that plastic bottle, she is being seeing everything in the plastic, whether it's a food item or another thing. So it's like the microplastic is everywhere, and that way it was highlighted from the film the problem of that plastic in our food items and in our everyday world. So moving to our next film. So if there is a problem, then there must also be a solution, whether it's on not of the much scale as that of the problem, but solution are always there, maybe single or multiple. So next film depicts such a solution that is being invented in our own country, India. So there is a company that is converting the plastic into its original form. So without wasting any time, let's move further to the next film.
Renu Verma's day typically begins with back-breaking work. She shoulders the responsibility of feeding her family of 4. And for this, she needs to collect and chop firewood every day. She cannot afford to regularly purchase kerosene. And despite a government scheme under which poor households are provided with LPG, Renu's kitchen lacked a clean cooking fuel.
लकड़ी काट के लेके आती है और लकड़ी जलाती है। लकड़ी जलाने के बाद इसका धुआं भी फेंकता है और बास आता है। प्लास्टिक जलाती है, बर्तन काले होते हैं और बच्चों को भी प्रॉब्लम रहती है।
On the days she is unable to secure wood, she has to resort to burning plastic, available in plenty around her, which can leave her family and her at an increased risk for respiratory diseases like asthma and heart diseases. India alone generates close to 26,000 tons of plastic waste every year, making it the 15th largest plastic waste polluter in the world.
20 years ago, there was not such a problem because we Indians have brilliant recyclers. Clothes, we give it to somebody. Paper, newspaper, we give it to kabadi wala. But when plastic came into our life, because it's such a brilliant product, we just didn't know what to do with it. It's cheap, it's versatile, and it just became part of our life. Bottles, thick plastic gets recycled, but especially thin plastic usually ends up in a landfill.
It is this type of thin plastic, known as multi-layered plastic packaging or MLP, that slips through the cracks of India's waste management system. MLPs are also glaringly absent from the dirty dozen list. The 12 single-use plastic items which have been banned in India starting October 2019. It was only in 2009 that Medha Tadpatrikar decided to take matters into her own hands, along with her business partner, Shirish Fadtare.
First 3 to 4 months, we literally sat down with chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, polymer engineers, or anybody to do with plastics. And then realized plastic is a fossil fuel.
एक डोक्यात प्रश्न आला की जसं क्रूड ऑइलपासून म्हणजे पेट्रोल किंवा असं बनतं, क्रूड ऑइलपासूनच प्लास्टिक बनतं एवढं माहिती होतं. मग आम्ही म्हणलं असं उलटं करता येतं का? ते म्हणले असं काही करता येत नाही.
After months of research and failed experiments with the help of scientist friends, the duo adapted a technology that converts all kinds of plastic waste to get a high-grade fuel that is environment-friendly and has a high calorific value. With a production cost of 23 to 34 rupees per litre, this polyfuel can be used directly as a source of burning without any need for further processing.
When you burn this, the sulfur output is much less than the diesel. The diesel allowable sulfur content is around 80 ppm, while with us is 0.17 ppm. So emission wise is much more cleaner fuel.
In July 2009, they established a public limited company, Rudra Environmental Solutions, and set up a trial plant with a capacity of 50 kilograms in Zejuri on the outskirts of Pune city.
तो फिर आज कितना प्लास्टिक आ गया? बहुत आ गया.
But it was only in 2016 that they set up this third generation plant with a capacity of 500 kilograms that is the core of their plastic waste recovery facility.
आमच्याकडे दुसरा प्रश्न निर्माण झाला की जे काही प्लास्टिक आपल्याला या प्रोसेसमध्ये लागणार आहे तर ते प्लास्टिक आपण जमवलं पाहिजे. कारण जर बघितलं तर महानगरपालिका किंवा नगरपालिका यांच्या काही सिस्टीम आहेत तर त्याच्यामध्ये ते प्लास्टिक गोळा करणारी यंत्रणा कुठेही नव्हती. आमचा ट्रस्ट आहे, आम्ही ट्रस्टमधच्या माध्यमातून अशा वेगवेगळ्या ॲक्टिव्हिटी करत असतो. तर त्या ट्रस्टच्या माध्यमातून आम्ही ठरवलं की बाबा आपण स्वतः प्लास्टिक कलेक्शन का करू नये. कारण लोकांकडनं जर प्लास्टिक आपण जमा केलं तर पर्यावरणाचं रक्षण होईल आणि सेग्रिगेशन ॲट सोर्स आपण जे म्हणतो की जो कचरा जिथं निर्माण होतो तिथंच जर तो आपण कलेक्ट केला तर तो निसर्गामध्ये जाणार नाही.
So this is the easy reckoner that we use to make people aware of the kinds of plastic that is recyclable.
Local volunteer organizations like this group of residents from 34 housing societies are important in Rudra's fight against plastic pollution.
We go to societies, we talk to the people there, we tell them the ill effects of plastic and how Rudra is recycling in an environment friendly manner. And because we have been doing it from 2016, it has now become easy for us to convince societies and people in Kalyani Nagar. At Aditya Garden City, an urban township in Pune, this has become a regular sight. Over 100 families in this residential complex segregate their waste and keep aside their plastic waste every day.
आमच्या घरातली ही छोटी सुद्धा काही एवढंसं जरी प्लॅस्टिकचं काही झालं, डेकोरेशन आमच्याकडे गणपतीचं आम्ही घरात केलं, त्याचा साधा कागद होता तर तो सुद्धा त्या माझ्या छोटीने आजी आपल्या ह्या कलेक्शनमध्ये ठेवायचं आहे ना असं विचारलं. चॉकलेट खाल्लं तरी सुद्धा ती छोटीशी चांदी असली तरी सुद्धा ती त्या कलेक्शनच्या पिशवीमध्ये आपण आणून नेऊन ठेवत असते.
Once a fortnight, the residents drop off their collected plastic at a pre-decided location. Employees from the Keshav Sita Memorial Trust, a sister concern of Rudra's, conduct these pickups from over 15,000 locations in a 150-kilometer radius in and around Pune city. Every day, Dhanave Ananta Baji Rao drives the pickup truck for 70 to 80 kilometers and ends up collecting over 300 kilograms of plastic waste.
रोज का एक 30-40 सोसाइटी का कलेक्शन रहता है. कलेक्शन का रोज करते हैं. वारजे, बानेर, बालेवाड़ी, विमान नगर, कल्याणी नगर, सहकार नगर, पर्वती, इन सब एरिया में कलेक्ट करते हैं और वो बाद में वो शिवने में गोड़वाने उसमें देते हैं. उसमें से बड़ी गाड़ी करके वो जेजूरी में जाता है.
आता हे गोळा केलेलं प्लास्टिक आहे ते आम्ही कंपनीत आणतो. कंपनीत आणल्यानंतर त्याचं सेग्रिगेशन होतं. हार्ड प्लास्टिक आणि या पिशव्या किंवा MLP म्हणतात, मल्टीलेअर प्लास्टिक, हे सगळं वेगळं केलं जातं. ते आल्या आल्या आम्ही डस्ट क्लिनिंग मशीनमध्ये घालतो. डस्ट क्लिनिंग मशीनमधनं त्याच्यावर जी बसलेली धूळ असते ती खाली पडते. डस्ट क्लिनिंग मशीनमधनं ते खाली आल्यानंतर आपण ते ॲग्लो मशीनमध्ये टाकतो. त्याचा व्हॉल्यूम रिड्यूस करण्याच्या दिवशीनी ग्रॅन्युअलसारख्या फॉर्ममध्ये आपण ते बारीक करतो आणि त्याच्यानंतर ते मशीनमध्ये लोड करतो. त्याचप्रमाणे शॅम्पूच्या बाटल्या असतात किंवा जे हार्ड प्लास्टिक असतं त्याला ग्राइंडिंग मशीन किंवा श्रेडिंग मशीनमध्ये घालतो आणि त्याचाही व्हॉल्यूम कमी करतो. आणि असं मिक्स टाईपचं प्लास्टिक आम्ही आमच्या प्रोसेसमध्ये किंवा आम्ही रिॲक्टरमध्ये लोड करतो. आता ह्या इकडचा कंपनीचा विचार केला तर साधारण 300 किलो प्लास्टिक आम्ही लोड केल्यानंतर त्याच्यामध्ये जे आमचं कॅटलिस्ट आहे ते कॅटलिस्ट ॲड करतो. त्याच्यानंतर ते रिॲक्टर पूर्ण बंद केला जातो. ही जी प्रोसेस आहे त्याला थर्मोकॅटॅलिटिक डिपॉलिमरायझेशन प्रोसेस असं म्हणतात. ही इन ॲब्सेन्स ऑफ ऑक्सिजन, म्हणजे ऑक्सिजन विरहित ही प्रक्रिया व्हायला पाहिजे. कारण ऑक्सिजनशी जर त्याचा संपर्क आला तर त्याला आग लागू शकते. त्यामुळे हे सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं आहे की कुठेही ऑक्सिजन तुमच्या प्रोसेसमध्ये आत जाणार नाही, प्लांटमध्ये आत जाणार नाही.
Instead of being burnt, the plastic waste in the reactor is gradually heated. Between 150 and 200 degrees Celsius is when the plastic starts to melt.
ये निकालने का है, इधर दूसरा प्लांट आएगा.
And between 380 to 430 degrees Celsius, it depolymerizes. The oil that remains is the polyfuel, which is filtered, stored, and readied for dispatch. Not only is it sold at a cost of rupees 40 per litre to companies, it also reaches people like Renu.
वो लकड़ी से मेरे को ये जो ऑयल जलाते हैं तो पर्यावरण मेरे को अच्छा है, बच्चों को नुकसान नहीं करता, बच्चे के लिए सेहत को अच्छा रहता है, इसका बर्तन काला नहीं होता, वो अच्छा मेरे लिए अच्छा है, मेरे को पर्यावरण जो है तो दूषित नहीं है.
Rudra has successfully installed 10 plants for clients across Maharashtra and Gujarat. Their success can be attributed to the eco-friendly conversion technology. 100% of the plastic waste is recycled, with no waste generated in the process.
आता ह्या प्रोसेसचं वैशिष्ट्य असं आहे, जर आम्ही साधारण 100 किलो प्लास्टिक त्याच्यामध्ये जर या प्रोसेसमध्ये टाकलं तर त्याच्यातनं किमान 55 लिटर ते कमाल 70 ते 80 लिटर इतकं याच्यातनं इंधन मिळतं. त्याला आम्ही पॉलिफ्युएल म्हणतो. ह्याच्यातनं साधारण 10 ते 15% गॅस निर्माण होतो. तो गॅस आमच्या प्रोसेसमध्ये वापरतो. त्याच्यानंतर साधारण 3% 5 ते 60% त्याच्यातनं चार तयार होतो. तो चार आम्ही रस्त्यांसाठी वापरतो.
It remains to be seen whether polyfuel made from plastic waste has the potential to completely replace fossil fuels, a non-renewable resource which is fast depleting.
आम्ही त्याचे PUC जे आपल्याकडे टेस्टिंग होतं त्या टेस्ट लॅबमध्ये आम्ही टेस्टही केलं. आम्हाला PUC सेंटरमधनं विचारलं की याला जरा वास वेगळा येतोय, परंतु तुमच्या याच्यात म्हणजे कार्बन किंवा हे जे काय कार्बन मोनॉक्साईड किंवा जे आहे ते एकदम कमी आहे, हे काय आणलंय तुम्ही असं आम्हाला विचारलं. आमच्याकडे त्याचे रिपोर्ट्सही आहेत. पण कसं आहे, शेवटी सरकारनी पण आम्हाला मदत करायला पाहिजे किंवा या ऑइल कंपन्या आहेत त्यांनी ॲक्सेप्ट करायला पाहिजे.
For now, there is hope in knowing that the fate of our plastic waste can be transformed significantly. Instead of decomposing for several hundred years in landfills, it can be put to an alternate use.
त्याच्यानंतर आम्ही ठरवलं की बाबा हे मॉडेल आहे, हे फक्त स्वतः प्लांट लावून उपयोग नाही, कारण तुम्ही एकटे किती प्लांट लावणार. त्यामुळे प्लांट तयार करून विकले गेले पाहिजेत आणि कंपनीचं पूर्ण स्ट्रक्चर त्याच्यावरच डिपेंड आहे. म्हणजे आपण प्लांट विकले तर तो एक इन्कमचा चांगला सोर्स होऊ शकतो.
Thank you, sir. So ma'am has put an important message in the chat. So celebration of the World Environment Day 2023 is the kick off in the host country, that is Cote d'Ivoire. So millions of people are also preparing the similar activities around the globe as we are also doing the activity. So the country is a Caribbean country. It's famous for its lagoons. So the lagoons are that much famous in that country. So it was also referred to as Pearl of Lagoons. But now the plastic pollution is also there in a significant amount. So it is the country where the focus is now for the World Environment Day. Also, for it's for all the participants. If you have any kind of doubt or question, then you can write it down or post it in the chat. We will have a Q&A session in the end of all the screening of the movie. So in the current film, so you have seen the problem that is there around the globe and that is there in our country is being resolved through the small efforts of an organization that is there in Pune. However, the organization is working only in Pune, so such models are need to be replicated so that the problems can be resolved on a larger scale. So our next short film is an animated short film. So as of now, you have seen all the recorded and documented films. Now, next one is the animated short film. So it will depict all the true causes and well as consequences of the plastic pollution and the global crisis related to it. So moving forward to our next movie, please sir, present it.
You've probably heard about a giant trash island in the ocean. Or that poor sea turtle and the straw. Maybe you've even heard how plastic is being found inside the fish we eat. The plastic crisis gets a lot of attention, but the headlines usually focus on the plastic that ends up in the environment. And that's just part of the story. The truth is, plastic has a whole life cycle that's hidden from view, one that harms people and the planet from start to finish. Let's start at the beginning. Plastic is made from fossil fuels like oil or fracked natural gas. Extracting those fossil fuels and turning them into plastics creates a lot of pollution. Pollution that most often affects marginalized communities nearby. As we've gotten better about using less oil and gas to power our lives, the fossil fuel industry found a lifeline in plastics. In fact, oil and gas companies are doubling down on plastic production, with plans to build or expand over 300 petrochemical plants in the US alone by 2025. But these companies already produce more plastic than we can use. So where's all that plastic going? A lot of it's flowing into new markets, in places like Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Because more than any other product category, plastic isn't driven by the demand for it, but by the supply. Corporations like Unilever, Nestle, and Procter & Gamble are aggressively marketing single-use plastic products around the world. These companies go to places like Indonesia, where I live, and push their products onto communities that just aren't prepared to deal with all that plastic. Maybe they're used to using natural packaging. Maybe they live on a tiny island without a system of waste collection. And on top of that, countries in the global north are shipping their own plastic waste into these countries too. When you add that all up, it's no wonder so much of this plastic ends up in the environment. And globally, that's where a whopping 32% of plastic packaging ends up. 40% goes to a landfill, where plastic just piles up for future generations to deal with. And 14% is incinerated. Incineration is a nasty business, producing toxic smoke and fly ash. These super expensive facilities depend on plastic to burn everything else. It is oil and gas after all. So they want to see more plastic, not less. Yahoo! Then there's recycling. Unfortunately, it's not the solution that many people think it is. Just 14% of plastic packaging gets recycled, and only 2% is effectively recycled, meaning it becomes something as useful as before. The rest is downcycled into something worse. And most recycled plastic is only recycled once, before ending up in landfills, incinerators, or the environment anyway. So it turns out that we can't burn, bury, or recycle our way out of this problem. And we can't just scoop all that plastic out of the environment either. That's like trying to bail out a bathtub with a teaspoon while the tap is on full blast. So, how about we turn off the tap by shutting down the plastic machine? That means passing policies that create systemic change, like phasing out the single-use plastics that pollute the most, ending the fossil fuel subsidies that are fueling big plastic, and holding companies responsible for the plastic waste they create. That's how we can achieve our vision of a zero-waste future, where all of our products and packaging can be reused or repaired, effectively recycled or composted, and ultimately how we create a sustainable, circular economy that works for both people and the planet. Visit storyofplastic.org to learn more and take action.
So indeed, it's a really a great animation that shows the root cause problem as well as the possible solutions for the plastic problem. So moving towards our next movie. So it's a different kind of perspective in the next movie. All of us are sitting in a room, and in these room and these buildings, so basic foundation of these buildings are the concrete. So even at the base level and at the top level, from the lintel to the base and the beams and everything in the buildings, in the construction sites, especially in India or in the Asia, depends on concrete. In some Western countries, it might depend on wood mostly, but in our country and the nearby countries, it's depend on the concrete. So, and concrete is also a problem because it is not biodegradable and it is a solid waste that cannot be reused. And if it will be reused in something like landfills or in another kind of type of fill, so it won't degrade, it won't decompose. So it's a kind of persistent, permanent problem. Our next movie will depict an alternative for this problem, and that is also originated from the two problematic kind of waste that are existing in our world. So moving forward to our next movie. Please, sir, present it.
Everyday factory worker Nitin Parmar processes heaps of waste and turns it into something useful.
हाँ ये मारा मदर मारी वाइफ एवं कहे कि आવું પ્લાસ્ટિકમાંથી આવું પણ બને એમને નવાઈ લાગે કેમ કે વેસ્ટ આટલો બધો પડ્યો હોય એમને આવો કે ખ્યાલ ના હોય અમારા ગામડામાં કે આ વેસ્ટમાંથી આવું બધું પણ બની શકે એટલે એમને નવાઈ લાગે કે આવું પણ બની શકે.
Nitin may not understand the science behind his everyday work, but the bricks and tiles he makes could help reimagine the use for 3 million tons of foundry dust in India. When natural sand, used as a molding material in ferrous and non-ferrous metal casting industries, becomes unsuitable after several cycles of use, it piles up as a waste material and is called foundry dust.
Foundry dust is actually a hazardous material which is a byproduct of industries. It also many a times contains metals, heavy metals, which can be harmful, especially for the fertility of the soil as well as the water, because if this is disposed of without in open space, and if it comes in contact with flowing water, especially when it rains, then what would happen is that it will penetrate into the soil, disturb the fertility of the soil, and also contaminate the groundwater.
Instead of disposing it off in the open, if foundry dust is collected and combined with plastic waste in a 70-30 ratio, you get silica plastic blocks, which Nitin makes.
If you walk down the bridge near us in our factory, you'll find open dumping of sand and waste and debris all over. Now this problem has started increasing as the industry is growing. If you relate it to the projected growth of India, which is going to be 2 times to 3 times. When you are saying we are going for a $5 trillion economy, where are we today? Maybe at 1.5 trillion. So we are talking of scaling up 3 times. When we scale up 3 times, the dust will also scale up 3 times. So this to me is a very huge problem statement which is existing.
Silica plastic blocks were the brainchild of Manish Kothari, an industrialist in the business of designing, supplying and servicing machinery to foundry industries in Gujarat's Anand district. His research revealed that 100,000 conventional bricks require 10 tons of coal to be produced. The same number of silica building blocks, he found out, can be produced with 300% less energy. Manish teamed up with Upcycle Chakra, a recycling waste company in Anand, which helped him create the first silica plastic blocks in 2018. Each silica plastic block starts its journey as a dry mix of crushed plastic waste and foundry dust, processed by Nitin and his colleagues. When put through an extruder, this comes out of the other side in the form of a slurry ready to be molded into any share or size required. At this construction site in Anand, where the silica plastic tiles are being used for waterproofing the walls, Nihar Agarwal of Upcycle Chakra points out that a silica plastic block is environmentally friendly in more than one way.
बहुत ही कॉमन अगर किसी को सीमेंट या ब्रिक का मैं इमेजिन करने बोलूँ, सबसे पहले ध्यान आता है उसको क्योरिंग के लिए पानी डाला जाता है, बाल्टी भर भर के पानी डाल रहा है, उसको कर रहे हैं, सो दैट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस. Now what if I told you that instead of that, the technology that is being used to make all the products is using water which is even lesser than what a family of 4 uses in a month. आपके घर में आप पूरा कर लो उससे भी कम पानी आज यूज होता है. That is how much, that's the only amount of water that goes into it.
In addition to the less water it consumes, a silica building block is said to be 2.5 times stronger than a regular brick at the same price. Passing these feasibility tests has allowed Manish to take this technology to 4 other units in India.
What are we addressing? We are addressing a waste problem. The moment we are addressing a waste problem, so the waste is also at rural level, waste is also at taluka level. So we have now projects where we can work at 5 kg per hour. It's a lab model which can be fitted on one tabletop, or we can take it to 1500 kg or 4000 kg per hour, which is a modular expandable model.
He visited an office space in Baroda city to see if silica building blocks work in the real world at all, and what their use cases could be. At the Mukund and Rohit chartered accountancy firm, the flooring, furniture, and even artifacts are made from silica plastic blocks, all as part of their corporate social responsibility.
So what we've done with this silica dust and a little bit of plastic, we made products which are decorative. This is actually something that can be used as a paver block, it can be used as a floor tile, which can get kept as a wall painting. This is a brick which can be used in day-to-day construction. So you have multiple uses. So you can actually see physically. So for us now, waste is not kachra, waste is not waste. It is a raw material. So we have to change the connotation.
As of now, Manish's company, Rhino Machines, has sold 20,000 products made of silica plastic blocks and claims to have saved 40 tons of plastic waste and 100 tons of foundry dust from going to the landfills. With the surface barely scratched, he and the community have a long way to go. Thanks for watching Eco India. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.
Thank you. you, sir. So in the movie, you have seen like the bricks and the blocks and the other things are being made from the two type of waste, silica dust as well as plastic, and their production is also consuming less energy as well as less water as from the original products that are being used in the daily construction, day-to-day construction. So moving toward our next as well as the last movie. So it features the cleanest city of India, the cleanest municipality of India. It's Indore. So you all might have heard about the like bio CNG project of the Indore, in which they are collecting the biodegradable waste, generating CNG from it, and it's selling the CNG as well as the carbon credits they are generating from it. But along with that bio CNG project, they are also utilizing their non-biodegradable waste. And there is a separate and a significant approach towards the collection of that non-biodegradable waste in that city. So in the next movie, we will see that how they are doing this. And this movie was made by UNDP and it was launched on the World Environment Day 2017. So the movie was made by UNDP and was launched on 5th of the June 2017. So let's move toward our next.
15 साल से कचरा बिनना शुरुआत करा हूँ मैंने। 6 बजे से घर से निकलते हैं, पन्नी, कागज, प्लास्टिक, पुस्ते, कांच वगैरह ये सब पूरे टोटल सामान हम लोग उठाते हैं। पन्नी जो पड़ी रहती थी जो गंदी, वो उठा के हम लेते थे। व्यापारी लोग क्या बोलते थे, भाई गंदी पन्नी है, आधा वजन काटो, आधा वजन के पैसे तुम लोगों को मिलेंगे। पहले लोग क्या बोलते थे, आप लोग सामान मत उठाओ, कॉलोनी में से बाहर निकल जाओ। फिर हमारा तो नगर निगम से जब बना हमारा, तो हमको कोई लोग को ना मना नहीं करा, लोग बाग बोलते आओ बिन के ले जाओ।
जो रेवेन्यू मॉडल इसमें तैयार किया गया है उसमें रैग पिकर्स को इन्वॉल्व किया गया है। रैग पिकर्स को एनजीओज़ ने अलग अलग केंद्र स्थापित किए हैं और रैग पिकर्स का पंजीयन कराया गया है और उनके माध्यम से रैग पिकर्स से ये पॉलीथीन इस तरह की प्लास्टिक क्रय की जाती है अलग अलग दरों पे। रैग पिकर्स की जो डेली इनकम हो रही थी वो दुगनी हुई है उसमें।
नगर निगम में जाके हम पूरी पन्नी देते, हमारा कोई वजन काटती नहीं, हमारा कोई कुछ भी नहीं काटती।
ऐसे पॉलीथीन का प्रबंधन करने के लिए यूएनडीपी, जैफ, एसडीपी के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने परियोजना प्रारंभ की है। इस परियोजना का मुख्य उद्देश्य कचरा बीनने वालों को रोजगार के अवसर उपलब्ध कराना है, साथ ही ऐसा पॉलीथीन जो कि नॉन रिसाइकलेबल है, जिसको ना तो रिसाइकल किया जा सकता और ना ही स्टोर किया जा सकता, ऐसे प्लास्टिक को एकत्र करके सड़क निर्माण और सीमेंट इंडस्ट्रीज में एज ए अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल यूज करने के लिए हम इस परियोजना का संचालन कर रहे हैं।
पेपर में मेरा बच्चा पढ़ा कि मम्मी तुम लोग ये पन्नी बीनते हैं ना, पिसाती मशीन में पिसा के ये रोड में ये पन्नी डलाती है।
Thank you for the movies. So in this movie, as you all might have seen, the replicas that are previously picking up the waste, so they are getting the less money as well as they are not being welcomed everywhere. So after being formalized their terms with the municipal corporation, they are being welcomed everywhere as well as they are generating more revenues. And the plastic that is generating as a waste, it is being utilized in the alternate processes and it is saving the raw material as well as the pollution. So moving towards our Q&A session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. We'll be taking up questions. Participants who have some question, any kind of question, may please raise your hand. We will unmute you and you may ask.
Lovely. There is already one question about by Komal, and where she's saying that yes, the films are good, but what is the role we can play to recycle the plastic? So I want to actually say, Komal, look, as Badal has already said, and the film's already talking about it, one is definitely we can use less of plastic as one very first and foremost thing, as individual as you, as me can do, as one part of it. Second part of it, now you've seen two films where there are solutions. So you actually also can think about some solutions. Try to be green innovator and look at innovative solutions. And if you're a science student or not science student, but try to see what is the possible solution you can bring at any level that you can do. Third thing I think we all and can add to it is educate. Talk about it. You be the brand ambassador for reducing and reusing and recycling of the plastic waste and communicate as much as possible. Let's try to do this much to start with. Yeah. Anshika Badal, you can look at this question. Anshika has this.
Sure, ma'am. So your question is like, so what are the cheaper ways to reduce the plastic? And you have given the example of biodegradable bags made up of cornstarch, and these are costlier than the plastic bags. So apart from the biodegradable cornstarch bags, there are a few other solutions. For instance, we can use the paper bags. If the vegetable vendors and the other ones, they can use the paper bags. Paper bags are of similar or lesser cost than those of the plastic bags. Also, this solution is at the level of the shopkeeper. Now there is another solution that is there at the consumer level. So what consumers can also do, they can use a jute bag or a cloth bag. So what happens with the jute bag and cloth bag? They are we can use them for months. So it as compared to the cost of one plastic bag, they are costlier, but as compared to the life cycle, then they are way much cheaper than the plastic bag as well as way much environment friendly. So at the consumer level, we can use the jute bag or the cloth bags, and at the shopkeeper level or the retailer level, we can use the paper bags. And there might also be other solutions that are there in the world, or we may also explore the new solution.
Yeah, there's another question and very interesting one. In fact, there's a, yeah, what he's talking about, I think he or she talking about that the government is supporting their idea, and then why government is not establishing numerous recycling factories. That's very, very interesting. I think the point here is, look, at all level, now plastic recycling is becoming a very, very important issue, and everybody is looking for solutions. And here, government also is not far behind from this point of view, and but it has to make, it has to make viable sense, cost sense, and economical sense. So they're doing it. The scale is not that much because you have to bring a lot of other factors in mind, but is there. All the Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, we have earlier in past evaluated a lot of projects like that, where government have set up factories for recycling, but the scale has to be now looked into, and that's what we all agree to. Yeah, but sir, the paper bag cannot hold much weight. Yes, Anshika, paper bag will not hold much weight, and that's the reason I think expecting a vegetable vendor to come out with a paper bag solution or some other solution, biodegradable solution, we as a buyer, we need to take our cloth bags when we're doing this shopping and tell them that we do not want this plastic bag that you're giving. I think that's where we need to really be upfront and proactive about it, and then only, and the demand will be less, then the supply also will reduce. Right now, because we are asking for it, and that's the reason there is a supply to it. Okay, there is another thing. PVC is not recommended as when temperature rises. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So look, the safety point of view, silica tiles and all other set of experiments that are going on right now, they do the lot of testing, and then only when the testing is done, prototypes are approved, then only they get into market. Now, when we see the harmfulness and the at a scale from what we are replacing, and then that makes sense also, environment friendly from that point of view. So that is what we are looking at. If the government is supporting that, it's okay. You have mentioned that. What is that you're writing? Okay. As almost whole world is aware about the harmful cause, then why is the government taking some extreme step? Okay, this is a very interesting conversation. In fact, I had it several times in a lot of places. When the government banned single-use plastic, and so I went to shop because I wanted to buy some other stuff, but then there were people who were doing some function and they wanted those plates, paper, that cups and all that. Now I said, okay, now this is banned. Why are you selling this? Why don't you have eco-friendly, versions and all that? What the shopkeeper was telling me, look, ma'am, I am very aware. And we have, when the plastic was banned, single-use plastic, we got all these eco-friendly material with us. But the other shopkeepers were not selling that. They were continuous selling that, other set of plastic, single-use plastic. So now, despite I have taken initiative, I am at the, back step of it, and I am losing my customer. Now the point here is government has taken extreme step of banning it. Now I think again it boils down to us, that are we reinforcing it when we go out? And now you'll say you means bachas, what you can do is what you will say. But if you remember, I said in the beginning that we need to talk, educate, communicate a lot, and that's where whatever rules, regulation, policies government is making, only then it can be implemented when we are all together. For example, we have firecrackers banned are there in Diwali, but still it's not like that. The firecrackers are not, we are not busting them. It's there all over Diwali, this one. So I think it's where the ban is there. Supreme Court said, everybody has said that, but where is the people action is missing, and that's where I think it will work in tandem, that you have government taking action and we all as individual, as group, as organization, as institutions, school and others supporting it, and that's where it will make the difference. One action will not make the difference. If you have seen in the film, they're saying the plastic is one product which is supply driven. So I'm saying that less, not supply driven, so it means policy will come in place. Demand driven, it means our action will come in place. So that's what I think at this on this World Environment Day is very, very important, that can we all, one is that of our own take initiatives, and I'll add, let's try to be green entrepreneurs. Let's look at solution, a very small solution, try to innovate and try to bring out products. And I remember few years back, using plastic for roads, for brakes, for tiles wasn't there. Now it means coming up. So it is coming up. I think it's need a push. So if we are building house, can we look at also using those bricks? That's the change. That's the change we all need to bring together. And when you are going for any Jagrata, any Bhandara, any other events, and when you see single-use plastic, talk about it, why we should not do it, and when we use it, then also throw it and properly dispose it. So those kind of thing I think will make a lot of difference end of the day. As somebody is saying, okay, I'm working as a volunteer local NGO, may know where we can get list of plastic plants, those who have. Okay, I think which part of town, country you are. You are in Punjab, right? Loveleen, if
probably, ma'am, from Punjab.
So if these recycling plants in Punjab, in Chandigarh, and other areas you have, if you can provide a list of these places where they can visit and use that facility altogether.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think Loveleen will do that. Under this project, the last film which was shown, there are a lot of series of plastic recycling plants were set up across India. So have a look at the list and see where we can connect. Okay. So like this. Any further question? You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Raise hands and ask your question also.
I have no more questions. So any other question, please?
I think in this World Environment Day, my message is this, and I'll again come back to Manoj Mishra sir, because in my earlier years of career, he was really behind, how do you really work towards talking. He was relentlessly, he was working on this Yamuna, the big fight. And imagine a fight where we are talking about making Yamuna clean, encroachment from floodplains need not to be there, and how you work together around that. The amount of research he has done, amount of fact finding he has done. So I think that is what I still remember, and that's what I'm just communicating to each of you. Do your fact finding and build on your research, communicate a lot, and build your opinion based on what is right in terms of plastic. And with a message, let's take it forward so that we can beat the plastic pollution. So happy World Environment Day. So Badal, if you have any last lovely. Okay, somebody has, Vanshika has a question here. Ma'am, I have a question. How can we dismiss the single-use plastic and plastic that can be recycled? Okay, so this is interesting. Look, we have Google, just Google your question. This is a very, very simple thing. Any plastic which you use it once and throw it, water bottles we are talking about, plastic cups we are talking about, food plates we are talking about, anything you use once and then it goes, straws for that matter, and then you throw them out. Single use plastic. And this is where we are talking that this is banned and we need to really take stringent action against this. And any plastic polythenes and all that, nowadays a lot of solutions are coming up of recycling any class of type of plastic. In fact, I remember we used to worry about what to do with these gutka wrappers and all those wrappers, plastic wrappers and chips wrappers altogether. But now that also, I think, matter of fact, you can recycle. There are a lot of shredders that are there, and those goes in building roads, and so it's now the solutions are available.
Yeah, I hope there are no more questions, and it's also time to wrap up. Okay. Ma'am, as we all know that plastic is not hazardous for humans, but also for other animals and birds. So why the government is not banning the produce of plastic by companies and factories?
Okay, what is why this question of why government is not doing it? And I think I answered it before that banning is one solution, but that banning is need to be supported by people's action of supporting that ban. So all of a sudden you cannot say that let's ban every plastic in the world, because you need to have the replacement of the products also, and you need to have solutions. Once you have that plastic waste available, the machinery that is producing it, you need to have alternatives like that. You can't have, let's ban all the petrol and diesel vehicles and have all the electric vehicles on road. Now it means you have to have that infrastructure, that system in place to run those electric vehicles on road. It means that need to be first in place, and then you can ban rest of the things. So similarly, if we need to ban what we are talking about, the plastic today, you need to have real overhauling of the system altogether. As I told you, the car, 40% of the car components are made of plastic. It means you have to have that alternative first, and then let's go to that. And that's the reason people are now working towards it. A lot of industrialists, a lot of government, everybody is working towards this. So the low-hanging fruits were, can we ban single-use plastic? That was a low-hanging fruits altogether. And that's what government has done. So slowly, people are looking for different opportunities here. And I am very, very hopeful with what I'm seeing today, that we are talking about environmental issues in the country. And when we have done environmental sciences subject, nobody was saying what subject you have taken in life, and no future altogether on this. So from there to this, we have come long way, and we are hoping that despite whatever field you take in your journey of career, always give priority to environment sensitivity. And that's where we can really bring the solutions. Whether government takes extreme step, or we support government in taking extreme step, or we demand extreme step, is all part of your making change.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's time to wrap up, and I take this privilege to propose vote of thanks. So at the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to Ms. Alka Tomar and Mr. Badal Chaudhary for sensitizing us on plastics and its hazards, through these films and interacting with our participants. Our environment is choking with plastic, and it is time to change how we produce, consume, and dispose of the plastic we use. My sincerest thanks to our Director General, Madam, for her constant support and motivation. And my hearty thanks to all the participants. Thank you for joining us today. Let's beat plastic pollution. Thank you, everyone, and happy World Environment Day.
Thank you, Badal. Thank you, Lavleen. And thank you, Yuvra. I think everybody at the Science City and CC also for making this happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
For hosting it. Thank you.